I am back. I thought I was back earlier, but I had not pressed the right button on my camera. Anyway, okay, so here's the palette I mentioned. It has 4 areas that I could actually mix some colors of my own if I want to, instead of using the ones here. And as I mentioned, it's very difficult to tell what these colors are. So I made my list so I know where they all are on the palette. And you just saw me make samples of all of these colors. Now I can quickly, if it's useful to anybody, and it might be, this one's black, by the way, and then there's white, which I really didn't put anything on there. I figured, what's the point? Then there's shadow gray, and that's a piñata, and the black is a piñata mantilla black. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the colors in case it's useful to you, since I'm getting some fairly nice close-ups. Okay, that's Rainforest on the top, which is piñata, piñata lime green, Ranger lettuce below that, and a Ranger botanical. Now that's probably the true green, but those are several really pretty colors. Okay, so then below that is Ranger. It's almost like well, it's a purpley magenta color, but it's a Ranger Purple Twilight. Below that is Eggplant, which really is more blue than purple. And to the left of that, the bottom is Sapphire Blue by Piñata, and above that is Bahia Blue, and I plan to get a couple more blues. Both of them are Piñata, right? Okay, so the Eggplant, I never would have guessed that was Eggplant. It didn't look eggplant to me. Maybe if you combined the two, it would look more eggplanty. And then over on this side now, I've got bottom Ranger Poppy Field. Above that, Ranger Cranberry, which is really pretty. Above that, Piñata Passion Purple, which is very purple. Very nice color. And then nothing above that, an empty spot. And then above that is Ranger Honeycomb. And above that, which almost looks exactly like it, is Ranger Sunset Yellow. There's a slight difference. The honeycomb seems to have a little tiny bit more orange in it. And then over is Ranger Sunset Orange, Tangerine, Senorita Magenta. And below that is, and these are, except for the one at the top, which is Ranger Tangerine. I have 2 tangerines, so not to get too confused. I don't know why I did that. And then Tangerine is Piñata. Magenta's Piñata. Sangria is Piñata. Santa Fe Red, below that, is Piñata. And then Chili Pepper Piñata. And then Burro Brown. Well, you saw when I first did it, it looked red. But it sure is a different color now. I don't know if I can get a close-up of that. Yeah. Interesting. Then 2 vacant spaces above that. And then Calabraza Orange, which is Piñata. Piñata Tangerine again. And Piñata Sunrise Yellow. Now I'm faced with a dilemma right now. Well, I think I'll keep my camera the same place. So there's my there's the 2, and what I plan to do is be able to keep them together. But I have a dilemma right now, and the dilemma I have is, if I put this peel and stick, I'm afraid it might pull the color off of the raw clay samples. So I'm toying with an idea. And I may just do one or two to see how that works. But I recently purchased some UV resin. And I have a piece in my oven ready to try. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. This little sample is raw clay with alcohol inks. It was a little silk screen, raw clay with alcohol inks. And I put the UV resin on top of it. Yep. And then I have it in the oven. But the back of it is still raw clay. So what I might do right now is sit it over here and then fold the thing over, which is what I had intended to do. And I might just test it right now, see if this is going to work. That UV resin is dry. Now I've sandwiched the piece, which is raw clay, silk screen, and some alcohol inks, topped with UV resin that I put out into the sunshine and hardened. And I had it in the oven to see how it would look after I bake it. But the good news is the press and seal seems to be pulling away nicely, and I'm afraid it won't on these unprotected or unsealed samples. So I may come back and show the result. The other nice thing about putting the UV resin, it will protect the color on top of the raw unbaked clay. It also will amplify it a tiny bit in terms of color. As you can see here, this one's been cured. The top of it has, but the clay on the bottom is not. Okay, so that's kind of where I am at this point. And I'm thinking, since I have some sunshine outside, I may just apply UV resin to all of these sample pieces, put it outside, let it cure, and then put the plastic press and seal wrap on top. And then I'm pretty much done. Well, the other thing I'm thinking of doing is putting the names of these on little slips of paper and positioning them under each of my samples. Then I've really got a terrific reference. And I will be able to tell anybody the colors that I use and remind myself. And I know that I now can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have room for 10 more colors. 10 different colors. Well, I hope this has been helpful and useful. Let me do my next experiment on these, and maybe I'll do another video so you can see the results. But I have confirmed whether the plastic press and seal wrap would ultimately interfere if pressed together in a sandwich for a long term. I do not know, but at least it did not pick up any of the color or interfere with the UV resin. So that's what I think I'm heading to do. And then later on, if I choose to, I can just throw these chips or samples in the oven and bake them. And I have a feeling that putting the UV resin on the top will preserve the color more than if you had baked without the UV resin on top. The good news is that UV resin that I have, you can bake it. All right, well, hopefully this is a little more information some people might find useful. Thanks. Bye.